What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering. I hope you're having a wonderful Thursday. It's about a bazillion degrees outside. That is the scientific measurement. And so I'll be staying in for the most part today. Maybe playing some video games. I've been kind of jonesing. I think I'm going to take some time off this weekend. I may actually take Friday off. I don't know. Saturday, I think I will for sure take off. But what's not taking any time off is the partisan hackery on late night television, which leads to some of the worst ratings in years. We have woke shows like, I won't even say like woke, although at times, but like literal like left-wing water-carrying shows like Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel, which are like outright just shill for the left now, where they'll have like AOC on for like 5 sessions on in the entire show, or they got like Nancy Pelosi on. They bring, that Joe Biden guy wanders in every once in a while, and they just carry water for one particular party. People are finally tuning out, and it's actually startling when you look at some of the numbers, especially when you compare them to a show on cable television, a late night show that is directly competing with them. On cable, meaning the only people that have access to it are paying money for it, versus Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel and stuff like that you can get on free. They regularly get beat by Gutfeld, and last night Colbert stepped in it again, and I just thought it's a pretty good sign. This was written by a good friend of mine, Christian Toto, good dude, worth following too on Twitter. He's got a website, Hollywood and Toto. These Gutfeld ratings stats should scare liberal late night silly. The Fox News superstar is getting the lion's share of the valuable group. Gutfeld isn't going away. Fox News' late night entry became a ratings smash last year right out of the gate, crashing the landscape's far left narratives in the process. Gutfeld even beats The Late Show with Stephen Colbert on occasion. More often than not, Greg Gutfeld nips at Colbert's heels, but crushes mainstays like Jimmy Kimmel Live and the historic The Tonight Show over at NBC. Needless to say, Gutfeld dwarfs the low-rated Last Week Tonight and basement dwellers like The Daily Show and Full Frontal with Samantha Bee. Now, on top of that, new data points courtesy of Fox News should send shivers down the spine of Colbert and company. Gutfeld posted double-digit % growth since the same quarter last year in a total viewers aged 25 to 54, and nearly averaged 2 million viewers, and 344,000 of them are the 25 to 54 category. That's the coveted category. Outpacing ABC's Jimmy Kimmel, NBC's Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon in total viewers. FNC's late night show also bested Comedy Central's The Daily Show, and TBS's Full Frontal with Samantha Bee across the board in total viewers. Fox News is known for attracting an older audience, is reversing course when it comes to late night TV viewers, and it gets worse for the show's competition. Notably, Gutfeld has the highest median income of all late night television in younger 25 to 54 age, as well as the most upscale audience in total viewers. Gutfeld's irreverent humor, willing to speak the truth against the Biden administration, is drawing a lucrative and surprisingly youthful crowd. Said viewers must be starved for humor that goes after the status quo. They can't seem to find that across the existing late night landscape. Colbert and company refuse to hold Team Biden accountable for, well, anything. The most Colbert can do is summon against Biden in a flurry of toothless old age jokes. This comes as more than 1 million United States voters changed their party affiliation from Democrat to Republican, according to far left PBS. The approaching red wave won't be kind to liberal late night. Yes, progressives will flock to Colbert, Kimmel, and like-minded friends to comfort and consolation. The rest of the country is exhausted by a flailing president responsible for soaring inflation. Gas prices will flock to Gutfeld. It sure seems like that. And you see this article in National Review. Does anyone enjoy the partisan sales pitches on late night TV? No. I mean, the answer is obvious. Absolutely not. I want to tune in. You know what I did last night to relax? I rewatched Waiting and Idiocracy. Laughed, unwound, relaxed, watched some South Park, went to bed. Now, sometimes South Park will kind of lampoon a political issue, but it's not every episode. Most of them are just kind of funny goofball stuff. And that's That's what I find myself tuning into. Comedies from the 90s and early 2000s and old talk shows. Like I recently rewatched, not talk shows, like television shows. Like I rewatched X-Files recently. I think it holds up pretty good, especially the first 3 or 4 seasons. That's a lot of entertainment for essentially free. That already exists, you know. I actually have the DVDs. That's how old I am. You see, on Thursday night, Colbert hosted Beto O'Rourke, who's running for governor of Texas. On Friday, Colbert aired a rerun featuring Senator Raphael Warnock, who's running for re-election in Georgia. Last night, Colbert hosted Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Tonight, he hosts Representative Adam Kinzinger. Friday, Colbert will welcome author Ibram X. Kendi, you know, the guy who is a hilarious race grifter. Colbert still has actors and comedians and other entertainment figures like Bryan Cranston, Carl Urban, and Heidi Klum as guests, but clearly anti-GOP politics and softball interviews with Democrat officials candidates are part of Colbert's brand and the show's identity. It's a free country, and Colbert and his staff are free to book the guests they like. But if you want to get a sense of why so much of the 2022 era American culture feels angry, bitter, contemptuous, and in your face, maybe factor in this late-night talk show television. Once the realm of less overtly partisan hosts like Johnny Carson, David Letterman, and Jay Leno has effectively become indistinguishable from a DNC meeting. 100% agree with that. There's a lot of reasons why Johnny Carson was averaging 6.5 million viewers when he retired and why Colbert averages less than 3. It's a different media world with a lot more competition from cable, streaming services, on-demand programming, DVRs, and the internet. Network television plays a much less role in popular culture than it did a generation ago. But there are also about 73 million more Americans than there are now than there were then when Carson retired. On paper, Colbert has a considerably larger potential audience for what he's offering. It's 11:30 p.m. Your local news is finished telling you about your local crime and traffic accidents, tomorrow's weather report, and the travails of the local sports team. You're probably going to bed soon. And there are people who get excited at that hour and say, honey, look, New Jersey Senator Cory Booker is on tonight, and he's going to talk about gun control. How many Americans hunger for yet another monologue with predictable jokes about how dumb Trump is or how malevolent Mitch McConnell is, or how more friendly series of softballs with Democratic official running for re-election? How many Democrats really hunger for more entertainment like this? Even if they do hunger for it, how is it different than what Colbert is offering from what Jimmy Kimmel does, or Samantha Bee, or Seth Meyers, or Trevor Noah, or everyone else? Does Colbert even enjoy it anymore? How many times can you ask, so what's wrong with your Republican colleagues down there in Washington? How excited is the studio audience to learn that they get to sit through yet another reiteration of canned talkie points and how terrible the Republicans won't get off the board with the latest Democrat priority? How many times can you hear Nancy Pelosi say, and that's why we need all our supporters to come out and vote in November? I mean, I've tuned out since this stuff. In the last night, Colbert ends up getting roasted for just being like a boring partisan hack. Colbert mocks SCOTUS religious freedom decision. He gets roasted. In a typical lame attempt at comedy, late night Stephen Colbert mocked the Supreme Court's recent decision in a case of the high school football coach who prayed on the field. He got roasted. Quote, if the Supreme Court is going to allow players in the middle of high school football field, they should allow high school football games in the middle of church. Ha 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 ha. Colbert was referencing the court's decision in Kennedy versus Bremerton School, which revolved around Joseph Kennedy, a Washington State public high school football coach who was placed on administrative leave by the school district and banned from participating in the football program after praying on the field after games. By the way, something that you see in literally every sporting event. Not every guy does it, but if you watch like football or baseball, there's always a gathering usually at the 50-yard line, and it's usually members of both teams that get together and do their prayer stuff, but that's neither here nor there. Again, requiring it or forcing people to do it in school is not okay. And so, I can see why people would be concerned about that. I suspect the Supreme Court realized or were sufficiently convinced that there was no forcing of players to do it. Justice Neil Gorsuch wrote in the majority decision, he's a government entity sought to punish an individual for engaging in a brief, quiet, personal religious observance, doubly protected by free exercise and free speech clauses of the First Amendment. And the only meaningful justification the government offered for its reprisal rested on a mistaken view that it had a duty to ferret out and suppress religious observances, even it allows comparable secular speech. The Constitution neither mandates nor tolerates that kind of discrimination. He wins. CC Dan McLaughlin, I miss comedy that wasn't just college sophomores thinking they just discovered arguing. David Harsani writes, gold. You can now understand why they give this guy $15 million a year. Steve Deese writes, Alexa, show me a dumb rear attempting to connect things that literally have nothing to do with each other whatsoever, which will then prove his dumb rear audience nodding in approval is even dumber than he is. Barnabas Piper writes, as a pastor's kid and former high school football player, I could totally get on board with this. A lot, then you see Chad Felix Green, this is moronic. In March, Colbert was bashed after he pontificated from his elitist perch in the face of rising gas prices. Today, the average gas prices in America hit an all-time high, $4 a gallon. Okay, that stings, but a clean conscience is worth $1 or $2. It's important. I'm willing to pay $4 a gallon. Heck, I'll pay $15 a gallon because I drive a Tesla. I am excited for the continuing downfall of late-night television. They did this to themselves, and I wholly support the end of these, these old dinosaurs. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.